Are live. It is a Wednesday, my dudes, and Jason Aponte and I are here. This is the God. I just totally botched that opening because I should introduce what podcast you're listening to. This is the Sprint Ride Option Podcast, part of the Blue Wire Hustle Network. I am Andrew Pasquini, Jason Aponte, with me as always. And Jason, before we get into the reason we're having this episode, I want to know how you're doing on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon, I guess night for where you're at. How you doing?
Great. We're here for a reason that you're about to explain, which is a fun reason. It's nothing bad. It's something to be celebrated, and it's time to have some fun.
Yeah, and to me, so obviously we are here to talk about the 49ers news. Fred Warner signs a 5-year, $95 million extension with the San Francisco 49ers. I think I already said that at the start, but that's okay. He becomes the highest paid linebacker in the NFL, at least in terms of average annual value. His $19 million AAV passes Bobby Wagner's $18 million deal. And man, I love these episodes because it's at least in terms of for 49er fans, there is no disagreement on this topic. This isn't a who's quarterback one week one. Who is it? It's we got to see this guy get drafted out of BYU. And we watch him develop in front. Like I'm just happy. Like I'm almost speechless that we get to talk about this, and it's really exciting to get to see a guy in the Niners draft because this feels different than Trent Williams. This feels different. George Kittle, kind of the same thing. We didn't have this podcast last year when George Kittle signed his extension. It's just exciting to know that, hey, this guy the Niners drafted, he worked to a point where the San Francisco 49ers felt it was fair to make him the highest paid linebacker in football right now. So I'm excited, Jason. I hope you're as excited as I am about this news.
Yeah, and I think what you mean when you say that it's not like the Trent Williams or George Kittle thing is that there was at least some doubt, I guess, from the outside, from the inside, wherever. But there was never any real doubt with Fred Warner. Whenever I get asked about, hey, when do you think they'll get this done? I'm not worried about it at all. It will get done. And actually, the timing of this is interesting because, as we all know, you're the highest paid whatever for just until the next person signs. And so the instead of watching what Darius Leonard got and then Fred Warner saying, I want more than that, they just got it done, and now Darius Leonard's going to want more than that. Yeah. And don't be surprised if Darius Leonard becomes the highest paid linebacker. So it's good because you get it done early. You're not comparing contracts to anybody else. I mean, you were comparing it to Bobby Wagner, but you're not comparing it to somebody who's in your tier, at least his age. Or, some people view Darius Leonard in the same way that they view Fred Warner. I'm not one of those people, but that's why he's going to get that bag. I think he's a really good player. But, yeah, like you said, it's great to see a guy who drafted – develop and become known as the best linebacker in the league. Some guys on Twitter have been calling him an off-ball linebacker, and this deal is not worth it. But that's another discussion for another day.
Yeah. We're here to celebrate. We're here to celebrate, really.
It just continues the tradition of 52, 53, 54.
Oh, man.
Willis, Bowman, Warner.
Wait 10 years from now when you and I are talking about the 55. Tim Lincecum. That's who we're talking about. No, yeah, and you mentioned the point of this contract is not going to look that bad in maybe even a couple weeks, right? We're going to see a Darius Leonard extension. I'm sure next year somebody's going to get a bigger deal than this. I mean, you remember the 2 weeks when Jimmy Garoppolo was the highest paid quarterback in the NFL? And now he's like the 10th, 11th, 12th highest paid quarterback. So it's these contracts, yes, big money. Where I've always been too, like, I'm not too worried about the money aspect of it because like it's not coming out of my pocket. I'm not losing sleep over how much the 49ers decided to give him, but it's exciting. I mean, to see him, he starts out like. It's fun. It's been fun watching him develop because as a rookie, he comes out. I believe game 1 was given play call duties as a rookie, which we haven't seen since Patrick Willis. That's a name we're going to talk about a lot today because there's a lot of comparisons there. And he's just a good linebacker, right? He's making a lot of tackles. I think he led the league in tackles for rookies that year, at least. I don't know. I don't think he led the league in tackles overall, but for rookies, he did. I think he has the second most amount of tackles for a rookie not named Patrick Willis in 49ers history. The next year, his second year, his tackles dropped by 6. Oh my goodness, he has 6 less tackles. Horrible. But he kind of turns into like this pass rusher in situations where like they want to surprise everybody. He gets 3 sacks, right? And then he gets a little better pass defense last year. So it's kind of been fun to watch him add certain things to his game every year. He started as the heat-seeking tackling machine. He kind of starts turning into not an edge rusher, obviously, because he's not in the edge, but every so often they'll blitz him. They didn't do that much his rookie year. And then I feel like last year, he really developed his ball hawking abilities, I guess you'd say, his pass coverage abilities. It's been really fun to see him just kind of step up every aspect of his game every year. So it's I don't know, man. I'm happy. Like, this is one of those days where you and I we talk about the podcast, and some days, when we have to talk about, as we always reference the quarterbacks and all that, it's like, really, do we have to talk about it again? This is one of those where it's just, I'm happy. I'm excited for the future of this team and the future of Fred Warner, because I think this is a really, really good fit for him.
Yeah, and the core is intact, right? Just waiting for Trey Lance to, ink that deal. But Warner, Williams, Kittle, they're all under contract. Bosa, that'll be coming up. They've got their core, and the window's open. And, for as far as what Fred does so well, like, it's easy to say, okay, he's good in coverage, but he's not just good covering tight ends. He covers slot receivers. He knocks off plays before they happen and makes quarterbacks go different ways. I could talk all day about the things that Fred Warner does. He's the absolute heart and soul of this defense, quiet leader with huge confidence. And we talked about it during OTAs. During OTAs, nobody would have had an issue if Fred Warner would have shown up and said, hey, I'm just going to work out on the side. I'm not really going to take part in any of the drills. No, he was on the field for every single snap, and that just goes to show you the type of leader he is. That's even without a new contract, not thinking about anything other than being better. That's why he deserves every single dollar. He's worth every single penny. Mm-hmm. And again, we're very proud because it's somebody that we drafted. Now we get to watch. He's developed, and he's the absolute unquestioned leader on this defense, maybe on the entire team at this point. And it's just great to have him around. I'm certainly glad that I bought 2 Fred Warner jerseys, because he's going to be there for a while.
Oh, he that's the plan, at least. And yeah, so let's talk about the deal. And these numbers I am taking off of Spotrac. So I don't know if these are the official numbers. These are the numbers Spotrac has right now. And one thing I saw a lot today is, I hate to like group people up, the pro Garoppolo people saying, hey, I was told they couldn't extend Warner unless they cut Garoppolo. And that's why with football, it's very, very important to wait till the deal comes out, because Fred Warner's cap hit in 2021, according to Spotrac, is $3.6 million, which I'm assuming isn't too far off of what it was going to be on his rookie deal. The dead cap number jumped up quite a bit, because that's at $44 million. They're not going to release him. They just signed with this deal. So it doesn't really affect the cap for this year. It doesn't really affect the cap for next year, because this cap hit, as I said, according to Spotrac, is $8 million. So that's where the money gets a little more. 2023, when everybody expects the cap to really jump, because all the TV deals are going to hit through there, 2023 is when it jumps to 18.5. 2024 is when it hits 22. 2025, 24.5, and then 2026, if it gets that far, at 21 million, 22 million, we'll round up. So yes, I understand the people who are like, oh, I thought they had to, people, there's this thought that the cap space doesn't exist. It does. It's a thing. It's just, there's ways to structure these contracts to make them work best for you. The Niners didn't have a ton of cap space. They keep that cap hit for this year pretty low, $3 million. I mean, I would say a cap hit of $3.5 million for the best linebacker in football is a pretty damn good deal, I would argue. So that's why it's very important to wait for the structure to come out. It's not going to hurt the Niners this year, and it might not even ever hurt the Niners, because if that cap hit jumps high enough, it might not hurt them too bad.
And the other thing is too about the whole cap is a myth thing. I think that people are forgetting the restructure of D Ford's contract, Weston Richburg retiring. That cleared a lot of money out, and that's some things that we didn't know were possible. So count me as the group that said, hey, I don't know how we're going to bring everybody back and things like that, and not just because of Jimmy Garoppolo, just because of the numbers and that just, how it looked. But, when you able to clear that money, And there's still chances for people to restructure, right? Eric Armstead can restructure. Laken Tomlinson can restructure. That's actually more money going down. So it's again, when you look at the raw numbers and you look at them, you say, okay, they don't have enough money to do this and that. Well, like you said, if the money is backloaded, if it's structured in a way where it's all in guarantees or it's all in bonuses, or you're able to clear space out with a retiring center and a restructure of D Ford, who was pretty expensive, that now you're talking. And that's when you're able to go ahead and go sign Trent, go get Fred, bring back everybody else on 1-year deals. And again, credit to Parag in this front office for knowing the situation with the cap numbers and understanding what they needed to do immediately, or what they needed to do to bring everybody back and have everybody back. And yeah, just an amazing offseason. We're just waiting for one more shoe to drop at this point.
And that's Bosa, I believe. Yeah, that's Bosa.
Trey Lance.
Oh, no, Trey Lance. I thought you were talking in terms of extensions. Yes, Trey Lance, we're waiting for that. And that feels inevitable at this point. Yes. I mean, I feel like if it wasn't inevitable at this point, we would know at this, like, it would kind of be a big deal. Jordan, to answer your question, the dead cap in 2021 is $44 million. 2022, it's $40 million. 2023, it's $21 million. They have a potential out after 2023 where that dead cap number is 16. 2024, the dead cap is 16. As I said, 2025 is when it gets manageable at 10. And then 2026, the last year of the deal, that'll take him to his age 30 season, is $3.7 million. So, and that's according to Sport Track. Obviously, things could change. That's what I have in front of me right now. Those are the dead cap numbers. But just as I said, man, it's so exciting. It's a little different than the Trent Williams deal because Trent Williams starts with Washington. You know, he's obviously a 49er now. It's a little more exciting to be able to see a guy come out of college. You know, they want to. I mean, I was a fan of Fred Warner when he wore number 48. Man, like I was one of the OG. It's like when you find a musician you like, and you always got to brag, like, oh, I was listening to him before he was popping. I liked Fred Warner when he was number 40. I can't wait for him to retire and get like 58, you know, or 54 hung up in the Levi Stadium rafters. But I'm going to be buying the Mitchell and Ness like throwback 48 jersey. Yeah, I'm real excited. It's exciting, man. Like, he's still young. He's so damn good. It's good times in Santa Clara right now. And at this point, I'm really rambling. Something I'm really excited to talk about in the future. I mean, I think and this isn't related to the extension necessarily. This is the Fred Warner episodes. Or this is the Fred Warner episode. I'm hoping maybe come February next year, March next year, when we're still doing this podcast, Jason. We're having conversations of like, is now the time to start talking about him being better than Patrick Willis? When should we start thinking about that conversation? I guess is it way too early?
Not yet.
Am I jumping? Well, that's why I said in April of 2022, Jason.
The thing is what is it? 6 straight Pro Bowls, 7 straight Pro Bowls to start his career. Patrick Willis, going to be hard to Here's the problem, right? You know, this discussion that you and I are having is fun, but people immediately on Twitter have turned this into something completely negative about whether Fred Warner is as good as Patrick Willis. And it's like, man, enjoy the day already. Please just enjoy the day. Like, we had another signing today. So that this isn't the only good news that we had today. There's a second signing. There was a trade that signed, not Lance. It was first reported as Lance. My Sports Update reports that it was Lance. It got taken down. Trey Sermon inked his deal. He's in. Trey Sermon's in. So this is another good thing. Again, building blocks. Trey Sermon's locked in. Trey Lance is about to be locked in. Fred Warner, George Kittle, Trent Williams. This core is starting to take shape. And there's going to be moves down the line and people who are going to be in and out based on, whether they have great seasons and they see other deals. But largely the young cap, Fred Warner is 24 years old. That's insane. Wild. That's insane. And, a guy from BYU, like NBC Sports Edge, they posted his picture today and with the report of the deal. And I had to retweet it because the picture that they used was literally, I think he was like in high school going to college or something. I was like, why did you use this picture? It doesn't even look like it.
It's a good picture.
No, it is. But it's a really good day for 49er fans. Hey, look, put the swords down, please. I know that we always try to, promote peace on the timeline, but guys, please, we can have the Patrick Willis discussion when he racks up another All-Pro, when he goes to a few more Pro Bowls, when he does it for a sustained long time. Yeah, in April. But the Trey Sermon thing is really good too. Unfortunately, people got their wires crossed with. We're already having issues with the two Treys. People are reporting numbers and saying that it's Trey Lance. It's actually Trey Sermon. Have to take that down and then report it a different way. But that the Trey Lance deal is coming. That's nothing you need to worry about. This isn't a Michael Crabtree thing where he's like, oh, I don't want to sign before camp or anything like that. I think the first shoe to drop was the Fred Warner deal. Then you see how quickly Trey Sermon gets done. Then I would expect that we see Trey Lance in the next 24, 48 hours probably to ink his deal as we get closer to camp opening.
Yeah, it's Jason, like scary thought, man. Like not a scary thought. We're a week and a half away from August. Like we're really ramping this up. Like because we're what 2 weeks away from or 3 weeks away from the first preseason games and
6 days away from reporting to camp and 10 days away from the first practice.
Like how exciting is this, man? Like as I said, like I know we say this a lot, but to take every hypothetical we've talked about in this off season, and we're finally going to see how it plays out, and it's really, really exciting. This is an exciting time. Another Fred Warner question: Is All Pro Fred like sneakily one of the best like nicknames in football? Because I think it is.
I don't even know if it's sneakily. I think it just is. And then he wins All Pro because we were calling him All Pro Fred before he got to the All Pros. It's just, man.
Yeah, All Pro Fred is such a good, simple nickname. That kind of it's like a resume almost, right? Like you get the piece of paper and you know everything you need to know, and you're like, he's an All Pro. His name is Fred. Like we got to work linebacker in there some way, but it's kind of like clunky at that point. All Pro Fred is a very, very good nickname, and I don't know if I've said it enough. I'm excited because he's obviously this is up to interpretation. I personally think he's the best player on the 49ers. And obviously I'm sure I'm going to get the George Kittles and the Trent Williams and the Nick Bosas of the world, that conversation that to me is a fun conversation as well. But it's always fun. Just knowing that your best player is going to be here until at least 2026 if everything goes right.
There's a huge argument for it. I mean, the other thing that we've talked about almost everything, the leadership, what he offers in pass coverage, his smarts. He doesn't miss games.
No.
He does not miss games. That's another thing. I mean, how can 24-year-old guy, 3 years in the league, hasn't really missed many games, on a trajectory to be one of the greats? This is a really, really great day. And, something that 49er fans shouldn't be surprised about. But I just, I still was a little surprised to wake up to the news today or open Twitter and see, yep, Fred Warner's done, per Ian Rappaport. That's it. So it's a great day for everybody who bought your Fred Warner jersey. Good choice. Very good choice. He's going to be here for a while, and I don't see him going anywhere. And shout out to Fred's dad. He almost made me cry with what he tweeted. Someone added him and said, "Hey, how are you feeling about your son?" He's like, "I've been crying since the news broke." So it's a great day for the Warner family altogether. Shout out to Fred Sr. You did a great job with your kids, man. And, he's one of the best.
It's man. I mean, you can only imagine. Like I'm talking about how excited I am, and I've only known Fred Warner for 3 years of my life. And Fred Warner Sr. obviously is he's known him for a bit longer than I have, even on the personal level, because I don't know Fred Warner personally. And it's as you say, man, we talk about how excited we are as a fan base, and you can only imagine what it means to his family and his people close to him. It's an exciting time to be a 49er fan, because this just feels like once Trey Lance signs his contract, as I said, an inevitability, whatever the word is, guys, you guys know I'm not the best with words. I only talk for a living. It's really the conversation can start of how damn good of a offseason the 49ers had. Yeah. And we'll really see that, as I said, when games start, we'll find out how actually good the offseason was. But on paper, I mean, what a phenomenal offseason. The Niners locked up the guys they needed to. I mean, remember, there was a 10-minute span in early February, March, where we're just like, yo, man, Trent Williams, like, it kind of feels not great that nothing's come up. And then, that happens at 4 a.m. I was awake for it for some reason. All that stuff. I mean, we got #Kyle out of this. We got, Juszczyk extended.
Drunk tweets from the owner.
Like what an offseason this was, and we're almost through it, man. Like football is coming, you know. Like I've been waiting all off season for Sunday night. That didn't work as well as I planned for it.
I knew that was coming too.
Hey, man. Do you have any last Fred Warner thoughts? Because like we can't really talk too much about Fred Warner the player because we got linebacker position preview coming up on Friday, so we'll have more fun Fred Warner information for you. Do you have any last second thoughts before we get out of here for this quick emergency pod?
Kudos to the front office. Mm-hmm. Kudos to Parag for crunching the numbers, getting it done. Phenomenal job. Even for me, who I didn't suspect, I figured they would lose one or two players. Really felt like they didn't lose anybody. It seems like they just really lost Kerry Hyder. And they have their cornerstone players locked up. It's an amazing time to be a 49er fan. You should be excited. Put the swords down. Just enjoy yourself today because he's locked in. All-Pro Fred is ours for a long time, and that feels really, really good.
Yeah, man. We got 17 weeks to find out how good this team is, and it's going to be exciting. This might be the most excited I've been for a season. And I mean, it's always so funny because we say that, and when I know for damn sure I was more excited about last season because the Niners are coming off of a Super Bowl berth. But at the same time, it's like we're excited for this because we know what the potential of this team is. Like if you tell me in February, right after the Super Bowl, that the Niners finished 15-2 and won a Super Bowl, I don't know if I'd be surprised. I think it'd be like, wow, that was a real. I'm not predicting they're going to go 15-2 here, Jason. Please don't hold me to that. But I wouldn't be surprised, right? If everything clicks like that, that wouldn't be. I mean, we would be shocked by how good of a season it was a little bit, but it wouldn't be like too wild. But like, I don't know. I'm rambling at this point.
No, it's in the range of outcomes. It is, and just again, how likely is it? Oh, and John, we got a donation from John. John, we appreciate you, man. Always,
I dropped my baseball. I'm gonna pick up my other one that I have. Right, I have two baseballs. John, we really appreciate you, man. You've been day one, I believe. You've been here for a while. We really appreciate you. Hopefully, all's going well. Obviously, we appreciate seeing your name in the comments, and we're happy to see you back. Jason, we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna be back Friday, though. As I said, all linebacker talk. We're probably gonna have more good things to say about Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw. Al-Shaair oh my God.
Azeez Al-Shaair.
I'm brutal. I should have ended the podcast 5 minutes ago. God, Al-Shaair. I'm excited. Jason. I'm so excited. I'm stumbling over my words. We're going to get out of here before I mess somebody else's name. I'll call him Kurt Warner just for the culture, I guess, at this point. So we'll be back Friday, same time, same place. Jason Aponte, as always.
Let's go Niners and put the swords down.
Put the swords down.